Look at all the bodies down there. There are so many carcasses of slain zombies. It's wonderful to see. This is by far the biggest challenge the Killing Corridor has ever had. G'day, guys. My name's Josh. You can call me Jawoodle, and welcome back once again to 7 Days to Die Alpha 17, where we are back in Jawoodle Park. It's really not looking as good as it used to once upon a time. It has been through the wars. It's a shadow of its former self with the floating trees and the glitches and the problems and the errors, but it is still standing. It is still thriving, which is very, very good because I am not done with Jawoodle Park just yet. With the imminent release of Alpha 18 just around the corner, it's time for us to start looking at how we're going to say goodbye to Alpha 17. And for me, the best way for me to say goodbye to Alpha 17 is where Alpha 17 started for me, which is in Jawoodle Park. So I've returned to do a couple of more experiments, finish off some of the things I never got to do last time, close that chapter, close that book, and get ready to move on to a brand new Alpha. But there's lots of things left to do and experiment with in Jawoodle Park, and I'm very excited to be back. So the first thing that I've come back to Jawoodle Park for is actually the last thing that I left Jawoodle Park with, the Killing Corridor. The culmination of all of my testing and all of my experiments with the AI and the pathfinding led me to this trusty base that has served me well through all of Alpha 17, but I am sure that come Alpha 18, they are going to patch this out somehow. It is now well known and well used across the entire 7 Days community, which is awesome, by the way, that I'm sure the devs have seen it and will want to, like, correct this as much as they can. So I'm sure come Alpha 18, it won't work as well as it does, or at all maybe, as it does in Alpha 17. So I decided to send off the Killing Corridor in the best way I know how. I may as well try and destroy the Killing Corridor. Find out, do some stress testing. What is the limit to the Killing Corridor's abilities? How much punishment can this bad boy take before it just keels over in the backwoods somewhere and gets shot in the head? So the Killing Corridor is going to take on a challenge that I have actually done before, that you can probably already tell, given there's like a pretty big glowing red number on the screen that lets it know. I took on a day 700 horde in this base a while ago, and this base is an atrocity. It's yuck, it's gross, it's a big ugly maze, doesn't even work that well. It took me hours to build. It was a waste of time, it was a waste of energy, and in the end they just beat through the wall and tried to kill me anyway. I did survive, but the base did not hold up as well as I was hoping. So I was thinking, you know what would be a good test for the Killing Corridor, to see if that could stand up to a day 700 insane nightmare difficulty horde, and see if it can come out the other side without a scratch, as it always does. Rather than let a day 700 insane nightmare horde just roll through Jawoodle Park and probably destroy everything in its wake, I've come out to a little patch of ground that's nice and clear and relatively flat just outside of Jawoodle Park. Jawoodle Park's just over there somewhere, so I can build something purpose-built to take on a day 700 horde. So there's no other distractions, no other obstacles. It's just me, the base I build, and the horde coming to kill me. And the kind of situation that I've set up for that is, seeing as it's gonna be day 700, I've built my character as if I've spent 700 days in 7 Days to Die. So I am actually level 300. I'm max level. I don't have max gear because I thought that might be a bit too over the top. I assume if I was actually playing, I would have max gear at this point and a bunch of good mods and stuff like that. But basically, the gear I'm going to be using, the weapons will be fully kitted out, but the gear and the armor and stuff isn't so. So if the base fails me, I will die. There is actually a risk involved in this, as much as there kind of can be for this kind of thing. So I'll build the Killing Corridor out of stainless steel, because that is the best material that you can make in 7 days. You can upgrade from concrete to reinforced concrete to steel. Sorry, I'll take it back. I'll build it out of steel, not stainless steel, because you can't get stainless steel in regular survival anymore. So I'll make it as if it's going to happen. It's been max game stage, max level, max get fucked, Josh. So this could be a pretty serious challenge. But with that all said, I guess it's time for me to get building. This is gonna be a whole thing. I'm not confident. I think this might be a bridge too far for old mate Killing Corridor. It's been so long that I've really missed just like spending time in 7 days just building stuff, rather like the actual like 7 Days to Die survival part, like the actual game itself. Just jumping in creative mode and just letting your like imagination, creativity go. It's just fun. It's like, it's soothing to me. It's relaxing just to build stuff and not really have to worry about, you know, a zombie coming up and punching me in the back of the head when I least suspect it, or a wandering dog horde showing up, or a bear horde and just ruining my life. But you can see there, I've built like the basic kind of start to the killing corridor. I've put an extra support. Normally I'd have a support in the middle here, and that would be enough. But given just how many zombies are rolling through and how much damage they might do, I'm not quite sure. I put an extra support in there because at some point in 700 days, I'm sure I had some sort of issue and I had to put one of those in. I'm going to put an extra layer of ramps up the top as well, all along here. Nothing's collapsed yet, which is very, very good. I am going to make sure I put enough lighting in here as well so I can see everything, just like in Hardcore Survival where I put all those torches in to get the MCG lighting going on. I'm going to want some MCG lighting going on in here too. Look at that, it's all coming together. I got the barbed wiring, got the poles, got the bars on top. All very, very good. I don't know what colors I'm going to paint this. I mean, clearly purple is going to be in here somewhere because whenever I build something, something clearly has to be purple. But I just don't know what colors I'm going to do. The actual steel blocks just look yuck. I miss the stainless steel like being that nice like sky blue, like a nice clean color. This just looks bloody awful. But painting is the last thing on my list of things to do. I've got the actual corridor part set up, but I need to start thinking about what I'm going to do like defense-wise. Am I going to have turrets? Am I going to have electric fences? Am I going to have blade traps? Anything like that. Like, if I just fight the horde myself, I'm sure I could probably get through, but I wouldn't kill as many zombies, and the zombie numbers are up for this horde as well. It's more than just the standard, like, 8 zombies or whatever. I think it's set to, like, 64 or whatever it was, whatever the max was. So shit is gonna really kick off. So I'm probably gonna need some help just to kind of survive, because otherwise just the weight of the zombies alone might just collapse the entire world, let alone just the killing corridor. So even after I made that last video, the last explanation video on the killing corridor, where I explained every nook and cranny and how everything works, there was still some people confused about how the killing corridor works. And it is this bit here. This is the most important part. It doesn't work if you don't build this part properly. So people in the comments talking about how they built it and they're sure it's right, but the zombies still came and attacked the pillar they were standing on instead of running through the thing. And that's because if you don't have these blocks here, they don't path correctly and they will just go into destroy everything mode because they can't reach you. So you have to have the 1/8 blocks here, or the wedge tip blocks. If you're not sure how to place them, watch the other video where I explain it in a bit more depth. But you have to have that bit there. That is the all important part. Without that, none of this works. For the cage at the end of the killing corridor, I'm going to go with something that's kind of an amalgamation of a bunch of different designs I've done over the days. I'm going to go with something similar to the cage, like the bunker I built for Hardcore Survival, with a couple of little windows here that I can throw Molotovs and fire rockets and stuff out of. I feel like that's going to come in a lot of handy. A lot of handy? That's almost a sentence. But I don't want to have this open because cops will show up and push my shit in. So I go like that and like that. Oh, that's already there actually. And then some bars across the top as well. But it should be reasonably okay, I think. I've blocked off the back wall so I don't have anyone like try to like fuck me up from behind. So everything has to come around the front. I can have eyes on the whole situation and hopefully not set myself on fire. I should probably, before I do anything, now that I've said that, make myself like a little cooling off pool for Molotovs. I have a bad habit of setting myself on fire. I've done that quite a lot. So having a little pool to dip my toesies in and stop myself burning to death seems like a really good idea. Put the hatches on the roof and make sure they're made out of wood so I can actually see what direction I'm placing them in before I put them down. I will actually upgrade those into iron hatches though, because that seems like the right thing to do. Grab some iron and grab some wood. Now I know I could use the nail gun for this, but I just don't want to test myself. You know, I don't want to run the risk of doing something wrong. I've used the hammer for everything before. Doesn't take too long. It'll be fine. So those hatches there can just like swing down and cover that gap. So when I don't want to use them, they're all blocked off. If you haven't seen this before, you should go watch the Hardcore Survival series where I came up with this idea. But this way, if I need to throw a Molotov or fire a rocket or anything, I can open that up and I've got a clear line of sight down into the killing corridor. Close back up again. And if I do set myself on fire, I have this. I have a nice little like kiddie pool at the back. I can squat down in, get myself all nice and wet and not on fiery, and just like try and survive for a little bit longer. This is good. I quite like this little place. I wasn't going to build it to be aesthetically pleasing, but then I started building a bit deeper and I had to put in some ramps and stuff, because as always guys, aesthetics and symmetricality are the most important parts of any base. We're pretty much done with the actual building phase of this, but I am going to go in and just double up on some of these supports, just because I've been bitten in the past by not having enough supports and had collapses and things at the worst possible times. So I'm going to put that there, which means I also need to thicken up that one. It's going to ruin the symmetricality a little bit, but that'll be okay. It'll be fine. Just put that one through there and build down from there too. Right. So I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to put in here in the way of electronic traps. Because like being day 700, you're going to have a lot of stuff. You're going to have all the turrets you ever want. You're going to have all the spotlights and all the blade traps and all that kind of stuff. You can really just like set yourself up with the bee's knees here. But I don't really use those very much because they sap XP. But if you're max level, you don't need XP anymore. So I'm going to bang some traps in. I've got the spot on the roof here to do that. I think I might just go... I might put a couple of auto turrets up here to kind of pepper them off if I feel the need in there. I'll put the switches down in here somewhere if there's a spot for them, maybe just above the pool. We'll put electronic switches right above the water source. That's always a great idea. I can turn them on if I really need it. And then maybe also some shotgun turrets around here somewhere, or maybe underneath so they can like shoot them on their way down. Or maybe that's a bit overkill. Maybe that's a bit too much. But then it is like the hardest horde I've ever faced. Is there such thing as too much? Is there such thing as overkill? Maybe not. So I've put my auto turrets up on the roof inside of the protective cage. So I don't want any like cop vomit or vulture vomit or anything like that breaking my turrets. First of all, because then they wouldn't shoot anything, but also because I've wired all the turrets together. So one switch here will turn on all the turrets. The shotgun turrets over here that'll take care of anyone who actually makes it through and gets to this point here. They're aimed up enough so they shouldn't shoot any Jeffreys on the ground. But so if this turret here breaks, I'll lose my shotgun turrets as well. So they're all wired together. The other switch in here goes out to these electric fences. Now, in other killing corridors, I put electric fences all the way down, but I've only put a couple here because I'm going to want to, this, like my plan is, I'll turn those on like that, and then zombies will only make it kind of that far, and they'll bunch up that far down the killing corridor, so I can then come back up here, get a nice big pack of them down the other end, and either throw a Molotov or a rocket launcher or something, make a nice big cluster of them for me to fuck in the face with some explosives, which seems like a pretty good idea to me. A bit more like cost efficient, as I mean, having electric fences all the way down will cost a lot. I mean, it says 700, shouldn't matter too much, but just like function wise, I think that's going to be the best option. So with all that kind of done, I reckon like just as like a bare bones kind of situation, I think that's just about it. That should be enough to deal with the horde, I think. I don't have to go too over the top. Adding extra things just cuts down on the frame rate, which makes it harder for me to kill the zombies. So I don't want to do that. I think after once this is all done, I think it's just going to be me, or then maybe I should put some blade traps down here, just for good measure, just to fuck them up when they do fall down. So I had the idea, and I thought it was going to be a brilliant idea, to bang in a bunch of blade traps all through the killing corridor. So under every light is a spinning blade of death to zombies, which seems like a wonderful idea, because then look, they come up here, they're running through the corridor, and they have this razor sharp spinning blade coming straight between their eyes, cutting their head in twain, as Robin Hood would say, all the way down. And sure, these will degrade over time, like the first ones will break, the next ones will break, but like it'll do an insane amount of early decapitation damage to a whole bunch of zombies as they're cruising through. And I thought that was going to be an absolutely spectacularly wonderful idea, until I realized that it deleted the poles that are protecting the barbed wire. So I'm trying to decide what's more important to me. I mean, the killing corridor won't stop working. This is going to do a whole bunch of damage very, very early, but then later on down the horde night, the zombies will speed up and they'll be running through at a far greater pace. I can still kill them. There's no real issues there, and I have the electric fence there if shit really hits the fan. It just makes me nervous, you know, like not having the barbed wire there, which has become like a staple of the killing corridor, losing that just makes me feel a little bit less secure. So I don't know. I don't know if the blade traps are going to be a good option. Sure, they'll kill a lot of zombies, but are they going to outweigh the negatives of losing the barbed wire? Probably very early in the night. I've decided to give it a go. Why not? Let's try something new when we're really testing the exploits and the limits of the killing corridor. So those things are going to chop up zombies, going to be good. The barbed wire should hopefully hold out for a little bit. And I think that just about does it. There's a little bit of paint, just a little bit of paint more go astray here, make it look all nice and purple and stuff. But then I think once that's done, I think we'll be ready to go. We'll give ourselves some weapons, we'll put ourselves in a nice little bunker here, and we'll get prepared to take on the biggest challenge that I've really ever faced with anything I've built. This is going to be a whole lot harder than the original Day 700 challenge, because this is a much smaller build. There's less material between me and getting eaten by a horde of zombies. Okay, I hope I'm just about ready. The horde is almost here, only 20 minutes left. There is the thunder. It is rolling in. Make sure all my switches are on. Yes, make sure that my little motion sensor right here is on and doing its thing. Maybe you got power. Yes, you do have power. I need you to aim right about there. So when you see things coming in, you're going to turn all the blades on. So you're really awkward if that doesn't work. I have my rocket launcher with a whole bunch of mods, well, a whole bunch of mods, cripple them and purple dye as always. I've got anti-rad and some scopes and stuff on all my other things. Got my oh shit shotgun in case things really kick off, with a muzzle choke to get the range down the killing corridor, and slug ammo instead of bird shot. Got my AK with a red dot on it. Got my marksman. I've got Molotov. I've got rockets. Oh boy, it's gonna be a whole thing. No time to turn back now though. It is time to see if everything I have built over this journey has actually worked out how I was hoping. There was some terrible shooting right there. Apparently the cops can see me through the bars and getting pretty mad, but that's okay. Go bars, go everything, go blade traps, cut them up, dice them, do everything you can. I'm gonna do my best to get rid of your anti-rad for you. I just need you guys to take as much damage as possible so I can hopefully survive the night. This is already intense. It's only been going for 15 minutes. Oh, a blade trap has already fallen down the end there. It is bobbling up and down on top of the zombie horde. Oh, all the blade traps on our side are gone. What has gone on there? What has happened? Okay, we have to quickly investigate everything else that's going on. Now, all the pillars are still standing. It's a little bit dark, but they're still there. I never wind up those blade traps. Oh, that was silly. I'm not sure what happened with those blade traps, but they all came crashing down. That is a big problem, but there's nothing I can do about it now. Just got to keep firing and keep shooting. That guy can get off my drop. That'd be wonderful. Some of the blade traps are still going. I'm really confused. That really shouldn't have happened. I just really hope that doesn't come to bite me later on. The choice of taking those ones over the poles has immediately not paid off, given that now I'm going to lose my barbed wire. Everything else is going to go wrong. There's like dogs and shit hanging off my barbed wire. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. You know what? Let's turn on this. Let's absolutely ruin my frame rate. Although it appears the electric fence isn't working either. Why isn't that working? Everything is going wrong. I'm being brave and not taking the risk of going and trying to throw my Molotov through the Molotov window. I think it's going wrong already, and I just don't want to take those extra risks if I don't have to. Everyone's on fire. There's lots of flame, lots of everything. There's some cops out there who are still shooting at me. Get one down the back of the area if I can. That'll do. All right, let's go back inside. That's enough fun for one day. Go back inside. Close the door. My frame rate is down to about 12. And the game is struggling a little bit, but I reckon we're going to be okay. The killing corridor is standing up like an absolute champion so far. It's loud as fuck. I can't hear a sausage, but we're keeping on killing. Oh, no, spider. No, spider. That's not okay. Get off my freaking base, dude. This is not the place for you. That's a sweet jump. I missed those bars. Those bars at the top. So it turns out putting blade traps all the way down there was a bad decision. It's cost me stopping the spider zombies from being able to jump across to me. It's also cost me the poles protecting my barbed wire. Just all in all, the cons definitely outweigh the pros. But that's why I do these things. So now we know that I should not be using the blade traps through the killing corridor. It's just a bad time and not worth it. So far, reasonably so good though. Those turrets are doing a wonderful job of protecting me. When they run out of ammo, it's going to be a whole lot worse. But for the moment, I think we're okay. So you can kind of see now that, ow, you can't reach me through there. You can kind of see now that some of the zombies have actually cleared the way a little bit. That the electric fence, if I can remember what I was saying, the electric fence is supposed to be across the killing corridor. Look, there's a good view of it. There's no wires across there anymore. So I guess a cop must have shot the electric fences on the outside, and it's broken the connection around. So there's no more electric fences down there, which sucks. But I guess now we know at the very least. If you guys can stop beating down, oh god. Oh, it's the spiders. I might have to just ignore the killing corridor for now and just focus on the spiders. Man, those blade traps are going to cost me dearly. The horde seems to be slowing a little bit, which doesn't really mean anything to me. It's 1:30 in the morning. I'm starting to think that if I just like sit back in my little kiddie pool over here that is designed to stop my toes catching on fire, I don't think those spider zombies are going to try and jump at me. And oh, that guy got rinsed. He popped his head up and 14 turrets lined him up and blew him apart. That was fantastic to see. If I stand back here, I think I'll be okay from the spider zombies because I don't see like this part here as a viable option for them to land on. So I think I'll be alright. Just keep shooting, Oh boy, I regret so many decisions, but even when you make the bad decisions with the killing corridor, it still has your back. Things can't go that badly as long as you have this base set up properly. Really, all I'm doing at this point is just trying to line up as much of the rads as possible to get rid of their regen effect, because I can let the turrets do most of the work. almost all of the blade traps up the top are gone, and they're not even on anymore, which is a little bit worrying. You just get rid of their healing. Everything else will be fine as long as I just get rid of the healing. I wonder how much ammo those turrets have gone through. I wonder how much longer they've got left. There's only a couple hours left of nighttime before the horde is over. I'm not sure if we're gonna make it with the ammo they've got. There's no more fire coming from the roof, but you'll notice that even with all these zombies dying, I'm not getting the XP. I have to kill them directly to get the XP up, which is why I've never really liked using traps. But I guess the turrets on the roof have finally run out of ammo, which is a problem, but I guess they're still okay because those turrets are still firing. They haven't been completely destroyed yet. So now it is completely up to me. There's only half an hour left of the horde night, but I have no more turrets to lean on other than the shotguns. But even then, they only fire when the zombies get to the end of the corridor. So I have to do what I can to kill these zombies as quickly and efficiently as possible. I regret making the changes. I should have gone with what I've always used. The bars on the top, the poles protecting the barbed wire, no stupid blade traps on the top that all fell off the wall to start with anyway. I should have backed my original design in and not made changes, but hindsight is a wonderful thing. Now we just have to focus on killing. Oh, there is the morning chime. There's still some cops down in the corridor. I've whipped out the shotgun just to try and get this all over and done with. You will die, please. The shotgun turrets and the shotgun Josh. The ocean shotgun is doing everything I ever wanted it to do. It's doing just fine. The sun is rising over there. We've survived the day 700 horde. The oh shit corridor. No, the oh shit corridor? The killing corridor, rather. Got confused between two of my creations there. The killing corridor has survived the night and actually stayed up really well. The only thing that kind of got fucked up were the additions that I made, thinking that I needed some extra love for the day 700 horde. But it turns out if I had just left it the way that it's always been, it would have been a-okay just by itself. Just finishing off the last couple of Zs, put a couple into you. Those shotgun turrets are doing wonders because after the rads get to the very end of that corridor, oh look, one blade trap almost survived. It's cooked, but it is there after all. But yeah, when the rats finally make it to the end of the corridor, I've hit them with some anti-rad enough. That was a shit shot. That those shotgun turrets, as they fall, tear them apart like that idiot. He's dead. Oh, he got wrecked. He got wrecked. Everyone's getting wrecked out there. I'm saying wrecked like a Kiwi, but that's just how excited I am by this. Look at that! Oh, there's a screamer down there. We survived almost everything the game threw at us. The hardest horde I faced could not face up against the killing corridor. What a fantastic creation this is. Oh, shit. Some screamers have shown up. Okay, well, that explains why there's still some extra zombies cruising around. Is there another one down there as well? God, they're bringing the party. I only just survived the horde night. They're already bringing a whole other challenge for me. All right, that's enough. The killing corridor did what it needed to do. We've established that it stood up to the challenge, and it only took a fair amount of damage. Oh, look at all the loot bags, though. There's loot bags for days. Let's just quickly take a moment to investigate the damage. The pillars have definitely seen some better days. Oh, the pillar I was standing on has definitely seen some better days. God, they were coming for me. They've done some actual, like, damage to, like, my supporting column. My whole base almost collapsed because they were breaking shit down here. There's another blade trap that almost survived. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. The stairs, surprisingly not fucked up, actually. That's normally the weak point. Normally that's where most of the damage is done, but they were focusing elsewhere. Everything here has a crack in it. Everything is done. That's going to take some repairing, but, I mean, at this point of the game, you've probably got steel flowing out of your butthole pretty regularly, so you can just use some of that and just patch up some of the cracks. What a good day, though. What a good day. It stood up so well. That went so much better than I was expecting. I thought it'd do okay, but then after a while, some things would start getting broken down, and the pathing would get broken, especially, like, down here. Like, look, they've broken down one of the blocks. Has gone from a steel block down to a reinforced. So they did slowly do some damage to the actual drop. And as soon as one of those blocks breaks, the whole system is kaput. But it stood up well. It did it. It totally survived. I'm very, very proud of you, Killing Corridor. Look at you go. So I threw everything day 700 had at the Killing Corridor, and it handled it like a fucking champion, which means that I'm going to have to find something else to try and break it with. We have to find the max stress that the Killing Corridor can cope with, which means I'll have to come back and try and break the Killing Corridor in another episode, because this episode is done. So thank you guys for watching. Most of all, thank you to all the patrons on Patreon who made this episode possible. If you liked, make sure to like button down below and subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Twitter. If I don't talk to you there first, I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.